Well, hello everyone. My name is Jeremy, creator and co-host of the Star Trek Wars podcast, your official bootleg Star Trek Lower Decks podcast. Joining me tonight is my co-host and co-life partner, Chelsea. Hello, Chelsea.
Hey, Jeremy.
Welcome to Star Trek Wars. It has been too long. Chelsea, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been like 6 weeks since our last new Star Trek episode, and I believe that's the longest Star Trek has ever gone between new episodes.
Yeah.
Since it aired in 1966.
I also think that's the longest we've gone without seeing each other.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
But enough of that. We got business to attend to. We got to talk about some Star Trek. The episode we're reviewing tonight will be rated on a scale from 1 to 10 by us, the co-hosts, and you guys in the Star Trek Wars Council left a rating on our Facebook page. If you wish to join the council and have your vote counted for next week's episode, head over to that page. You can find us by searching for Star Trek Wars. The council should pop up right at the top. There you can rate episodes yourself and can also leave a comment that'll be potentially read on air. It's a great community. We're all on there, very active, and love talking Trek with you. Now, hopefully at the end of the episode, Chelsea will be able to catch up a bit. I don't know, they lock us down pretty quick between episodes. So
yeah, I actually have a hard stop. I gotta get out of here. So yeah, I'll see you in another week, though.
Okay. But first, I'm gonna keep you around for a little bit longer. Let's get down to the business. Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 3, Episode 1, Grounded. Written by Chris Kula, directed by Jason Zurich. Mariner enlists her friends on a rogue mission to exonerate her mother as Captain Freeman faces a military tribunal for the destruction of Packlet Planet. All right, Chelsea, what are your general thoughts as we jump back in to Lower Decks?
I mean, it was a little underwhelming.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to get better because it always does. But
True. It
was a little underwhelming. What about you?
Well, as far as season premieres of Lower Decks goes, this is one of the three.
It is definitely a Lower Decks episode.
Yep, made it into the top 3 for me as for premieres. I think my least favorite episodes of Lower Decks so far are the premieres of each season. And I feel like that streak, unfortunately, continues with this one. That's not to say I didn't like this episode, but it's nowhere near as great as the series can and has been in the past. It also in no way curbs my excitement for the show because I'm very happy that it's back and I know that great stuff is on the way. Mm-hmm. Now, before we get into our pros and cons, I thought we would talk about some Easter eggs that not me, the lifelong Star Trek fan, have noticed, but you, Chelsea, did you notice any Easter eggs this week?
Yeah, the hot sauce, the Ketrasil white hot sauce. Is that what it's called?
Right, yeah.
White hot. That was kind of, and it didn't really end up being an Easter egg because they zoomed in on the bottle after. I was like, hey. But
yeah, you called that out before they zoomed in. I didn't even see it. So
yeah, I don't know. This whole episode was kind of a giant
Easter egg?
Yes.
And maybe light on actual story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too. My favorite one-off Easter egg, I think, and I agree with you, there's too many to mention because maybe to the detriment of this episode, it felt like one long Easter egg than actual story. Mm-hmm. But I did love Rutherford's Jake Sisko civilian attire. That awful,
my gosh, hideous
shirts that Jake Sisko would wear.
I liked that. I didn't put 2 and 2 together though. And I mean, they were like on shore leave, right? Mm-hmm. So it kind of makes sense that there were a ton of just like ridiculous callbacks because you're not always going to have the chance to do that if they're on the ship.
So what did work for you?
I like seeing them back.
Yes.
I really enjoyed Boimler being absolutely oblivious to all of the girls at the vineyard, like throwing themselves at him. And he's just so irritated with them. Like he just thinks they're incompetent and just dumb. And they're literally just trying to get laid. Yeah. Like, also I thought it was funny that was it mentioned previously that his family owned a vineyard?
No.
Okay. Cause at first I was like, is he like working at Chateau Picard or whatever their vineyards called, and then he makes raisins.
Of course.
It's like, oh man. It was good to see Mariner. It was cool to see her dad and more than just like a line.
Yeah, like in person together.
Yeah. Her comments about the Golden Gate Bridge were pretty funny.
Yeah, because they've been showing that in external scenes since Star Trek began.
Yeah, so. It's always been there. But I don't know. I don't have a ton of like solid pros for this. It just, I guess a pro would be, I'm glad that Freeman's kind of done with the whole court-martial thing. I didn't really want to see that last the whole season. So I'm glad that's kind of over. And I am excited to see how Ransom being the babysitter is going to play out.
Yeah, because I had a pretty interesting, I think in the first season, there was an episode with those two together.
Yeah.
That worked really well.
Yeah. And they like almost had like a moment.
Yeah.
And then like pulled back like, oh my God, ew, 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 ew.
Yeah, because he was like fighting that thing shirtless, and Mariner's just like, so ethical.
Yes. Yeah. And then he like, I don't know. Yeah, that was a good episode. Yeah. But yeah, not a ton of like individual pro call outs, unfortunately, for me. What about you this week?
Well, all of mine stem from one part of the actual story, and it's everything to do with First Contact land. So anybody that's listened to our coverage of First Contact or knows me, I'm a sucker for the movie Star Trek First Contact. That movie means so much to me. So the visit to First Contact land is by far the greatest thing about this premiere. I loved everything about the segment, especially that beautiful soundtrack gets me every time, even if it's not used correctly here, because it's so just beautiful. It's great. I just love it. They had that theme. They got the magic carpet ride from Steppenwolf.
Mm-hmm.
All the great songs of that movie were used in this one.
Not all of them.
All the great songs were
Not
used.
all of them. I think, didn't they show the jukebox, though, that only plays Oogie Boogie or whatever it's called?
Yeah, the Oogie Boogie.
It's the only song it has.
They reverence that. It's like, oh, there's the jukebox that plays the only one song. But thankfully, they didn't play. Now I can't think of the song because I just say it, Oogie Boogie.
I think
Ooby Dooby.
Ooby Dooby.
It's so close. Also, that was Zephyrin Cochrane himself, James Cromwell, reprising his role.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
like the hologram?
Yeah, the hologram.
Nice.
And the beauty shots of the Phoenix, I thought that looked great. The warp ship in space and stuff. It looked really good. They have a coffee shop called Thirst Contact.
Thirst Contact?
Yeah, Thirst
I didn't
Contact.
even pick up on that. It's like a Slurpee.
Yeah, Tindy and Rutherford get some Zephyrin Cochrane hats.
Oh my
gosh. Little beanies.
Thirst.
So I love all of that. Everything about First Contact Land is wonderful. If that was not in this episode, I truly don't know if I'd have any pros, to be honest with you. I didn't hate this episode, but it didn't do a lot for me. It just continues the tradition of the premiere of each season being one of my least enjoyable episodes.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like you said, it's just great to have the awesome show back. Mediocre Lower Decks is still pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Mariner's right. Earth is pretty whack. So
Earth is very whack.
All right. What do you got for cons?
I was kind of, so this was one of my pros, but also one of my cons. Like, I'm excited that they wrapped up the Freeman thing, but it felt like really dire. And this was like the whole purpose of the episode. And then like 3/4 of the way through, she just like shows up on the Cerritos. That felt really weird and rushed. And I don't know. Like I said, they always make up for it. And it would have sucked, honestly, if this whole season was them on Earth trying to figure out how to make sure that she's proven innocent or whatever. But yikes.
Yeah.
What's the kid's name that they took up to space with them on the road?
Is it Morgan?
Is it Morgan? I keep wanting to say Gavin, but I think that's because we were talking about Red Dead.
I think you're right.
Okay.
Gavin.
I was hoping that we would see him like towards the end in like a weird cameo towards the end of the season. like he had taken off into space because he had like a little power trip, right? He was all scared of it, and then he gets up there, he's like, "It's my spaceship."
It'd be interesting to like visit him later.
Yeah, I was hoping that he would like land on some weird little tiny like moon with like this like super passive little species, and he'd become their god, and he's just like this maniacal, like crazy person. So I don't know. That felt more on par with what Lower Decks would do, but I didn't hate that they just kind of rescued him at the end of the episode. Yeah,
that could have been a great Star Trek episode later on, though, because they have so many, especially original series episodes, that like they land on a planet that's been corrupted by some weird officer that landed there and taught them gangster stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he could have, it could have been a Morgan planet.
Like, I think it would have been really funny. The whole episode was just a little boring to me. Like, it was fine to watch. Like, it's always pleasant to watch the show, even when it's not good, but it wasn't, like, riveting or enthralling. But like you said, they don't have great premieres, but it always gets way better. So I'm pretty excited. I'm just happy that it's back. I don't know. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It felt lacking. It felt like a weird mix of being rushed and also just, like, slow and nothing to do. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel ya.
Like, the old guy, I liked the old guy.
Did you?
Yeah,
Dennis?
the butterscotch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was just okay.
Yeah, a lot of the humor fell flat for me. I thought Boimler's grapes, like, okay. You know, the Picards make wine and they dry grapes. Like, got it. Like, I guess that's fine. His log, where he's like sniffing the captain's chair and stuff. It's it's just kind of low hanging grapes, really. Mr. Dennis in the transporter, just like, he's an old guy, so they don't want to hurt him. And then he's like, "You're not trying to knock me out, are you?" Like, it's fine, but
yeah.
Gavin, he takes off into Phoenix with a newfound love and adventure that had potential, and then it just ended with nothing really happening except a nice shot of a runabout.
Yeah.
But that's not really worth much.
Is that another DS9 callback?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where the runabouts came from.
Right.
Speaking of DS9, it's nice to see Cisco's restaurant, but yet again, no DS9 cameos. Like, this is coming here. I feel like it's coming.
It is.
Yeah.
It was in the trailer.
Well, I mean, they do visit Deep Space Nine, but that doesn't mean anything until I actually see or hear from someone. But I have a good feeling. I feel like even the live action shows have caught up on this. I think we're going to get some DS9 stuff in Picard season 3. I think we're going to get DS9 stuff here, but we didn't get much here. We didn't, like, not even an unspoken background for him, like Tuvok and another character we'll get into later. And I know the amazing Brock Peters, who played Joseph Sisko, so Ben's dad, he has passed, but Joe Sisko would still be around at this time. It'd be nice to even just seeing him in the background. We saw Tuvok unspoken. We could have seen Joe Sisko in the background with customers. That would have been sweet. I mean, and other Siskos, this episode literally starts with a news report. You know who's a journalist?
Ooh, Jake.
Jake Sisko.
Would Jake be around? I get so confused with the timelines. Sorry.
This is like 3 or 4 years after Deep Space Nine ended.
Yeah, so he definitely...
Yeah, this is like 2 years after the last TNG movie.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're like 4 years removed from Deep Space Nine or whatever. Okay. So, yeah, he'd still be in his like 20s at this point. He's a journalist. He wrote for the news service during the Dominion War. So, yeah, he exists here. And then the ending. On one hand, it's very Lower Decks to have the epic conclusion to Captain Freeman's fate play out without our lead's involvement. That's the premise of the show, after all. That doesn't make the reset to normality feel any better for me.
Yeah.
And it's very TNG, which is what this show follows, to have an epic season finale and only to follow it up with a 1-episode subpar follow-up season premiere. I just wish the show would utilize some Deep Space Nine here, not just with cameos, but also with storytelling. I'd be on board with the reset button if we at least got more than 1 episode before this happened. Let's get a couple episodes with Freeman's fate still in the air. They could have even ended this premiere with a new Jellicoe-type captain taking over the Cerritos for an episode.
Yeah.
Could have got some out of that with a new captain running things. Ronnie Cox is still alive. They could have got Jellicoe himself.
Oh, my God.
They mentioned him in the news crawl at the beginning, too. So, like, Admiral Jellicoe still around getting on people's nerves. So, he was in the news crawl at the beginning, too. There's so many Easter eggs. Like, everything is a news crawl. I don't want to say the premiere was lazy, because that's not really fair, but it was a bit paint by numbers and easy, it seemed like. Like with the hot sauce. Like, you see the hot sauce, like, okay, so white is great. Oh, Boimler's going to try a bit, and it's going to knock him out because he's a wuss, and then Mariner's going to put the whole thing on there, and it'll barely affect her. Like, it's so easy.
It's like on the nose.
Yeah. We've had 2 incredible season finales of this show, and future episodes have lessened the impact of both of them. With Shax's amazing sacrifice in the first finale being erased away for a joke, and now basically the entire plot of season 2 being explained away in the 30-second monologue with still pictures. It's still not a total con. I mean, it's in line with the series theme of Lower Decks not saving the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that humorous? I mean, I guess it could be. Is it all those things yet still unfulfilling and a bit disappointing? I think it is.
Yeah.
Does it diminish my love for the show? Not in the slightest. It's a brilliant series, and I still can't wait for next week. I think it'll be great.
It's only going to get better. It always does.
Always. But that's what we thought about this episode.
Woohoo.
We got a lot of comments, so thank you guys for writing in. Let's hear what you guys have to say.
Picking up communication, sir.
R.I.P. to the late, great Nichelle Nichols.
Oh.
Kevin Leung says, nearly perfect beginning. I say it's only marginally low due to the fast solving of last season's cliffhanger. It fits with context, but still was way too fast. Love the Dr. Cochran cameo and the happy joy that Bozeman brought with the music. Super cool they threw in some DS9 references too, and even got Voyager in there. A totally fun ride to start off the season. I give it 9 rides on the Phoenix. Keith Danforth says, great season opener, and a lot of fun little references as always, including the FNN ticker deck text referencing Admiral Jellicoe and the country music guy from that one episode of TNG.
What?
Yeah.
What?
We might get into that a bit later as well. While I did enjoy the transitions from where all the characters were on leave back to the Cerritos by way of the Bozeman, Montana theme park, the wrap-up of the Packlet planet explosion by the end of the episode kind of cut the tension. I kind of expected it based on the season trailer. I was hoping to get at least one more episode out of it, maybe even get Kelsey Grammer and Tim Russ to actually voice their appearances, or the 4 join their efforts to uncover the truth. Oh, that would have been cool. 8 restricted transports out of 10 bowls of soup. Barbara Whipple says, for some reason, when I push play, I got the last episode from second season. I really like it, even better the second time. But it made me think that the new episode wasn't as good. Mariner breaking things gets tiresome for me, and I wanted to see the solution of the captain getting arrested. I guess that's what happens to Lower Decks people. They don't get to see those things happen. I really like the Montana theme park and Zephyr Cochrane. Alex Cersei says, I seem to be in the minority, but this wasn't very good. The spin on Star Trek 6 was dated. I'm beyond over Mariner, and I refuse to believe she could steal the Cerritos on her own. Of the core 4 young officers the show is supposed to be about, only Boimler really feels genuine anymore. All the force and unnecessary nostalgia, the line for Kirk's sake, and the fact that Captain was cleared that fast and off screen makes me wonder why they bothered with that plot at all. I suspect one way or the other, it's not over, but we'll see. The show has lost its charm and humor, and it's showing big time. This episode was an absolute farce, even for a cartoon, and in all the wrong notes. For a brief positive, I did like seeing Cisco's Creole restaurant. That didn't feel so forced. Give it 3 times. I almost turned it off mid-episode and stopped watching out of 10. All right, let's not leave it on a downer.
Right?
Let's bring in some C-Row Brit. There were parts where I laughed out loud and others that I just adored because of the Easter eggs, like Cisco's Creole restaurant or Ketrasol white hot sauce. I mean, holy crap, that was hilarious. Like cocaine-flavored Tabasco sauce? Where can I get me some? But the continued storyline from season 2 was average. It was really the old First Contact references, music, and humor that made it a solid 7 alien splurges out of 10. Speaking of things out of 10, Chelsea, let's rate this out of 10.
Okay.
What you give it?
I think I'm going to give it 6 raisins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that will undoubtedly be my lowest score this season.
I'd put money on it.
Oh, yeah.
What I wouldn't have put money on is me scoring this lower than you.
Whoa, me neither.
I give it a 5.
Oof.
5 Ketracel-ite.
What?
It's Ketracel-ite.
It's aight. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord.
All right, let's get into my 3 Trekcommendations. Of course, where I recommend 3 shows of Star Trek based on references in this week's episode. Oh, man, it's like riding a bike. All right, my number 3 recommendation based on this week's episode is a Next Generation episode called The Neutral Zone.
Oh.
Season 1 finale, Chelsea. What do you think this is about?
I think I've seen this. Have I seen this?
I wouldn't have purposely shown you.
Oh. It's obviously something with the Romulan neutral zone.
Hell yeah, Chelsea, it is. It's the return of the Romulans.
Oh.
The Romulans are back. We haven't seen them since the original series show because they weren't in the movies, really. Maybe in like the background.
Maybe I like the background.
Yeah, no, I like the background. Maybe.
They didn't have speaking
Maybe one
lines.
was smoking a cigarette on Final Frontier. I can't remember.
Oh my God.
Yeah, why do you think I mentioned that?
The Romulans?
The neutral zone. Why would I pick this as a recommendation?
Because you didn't have anything better to recommend.
Absolutely incorrect. It's because it's got none other than country sensation Sonny Clemens in it. Also in this episode, they unfreeze like 3 people from the 21st century for some reason. One's like a Donald Trump guy, and one's like a woman, and that's her character. And then the other one is a country music star that... and it looks like he in the ticker, the little ticker thing at the bottom, one of the there's like a stampede or something at a Sonny Clemens concert. So he's doing good.
Oh my God. Wait, so he's in that episode? Like
The Neutral Zone, yeah, with the
who
Romulans.
plays him?
Some goofy looking bastard.
He's just like a country singer in space?
Yeah.
What does he sing about?
We don't get any of that because he wasn't in space when he got frozen. He's
Oh, so he's from like our time.
Yeah,
So
they're
he
like
just
from-
sings about like freedom and trucks.
yeah.
Okay. But now he does it in space.
He does it in space, and
Okay.
people are loving him. So that's
Apparently.
really cool. Yeah, the Neutral Zone out of 716 episodes, it is that we rated 536th all time with an average score of 5.27. And it's the 131st episode out of 176 of Next Gen. So it's not great, but it's got Sonny Clemens in it. And we reviewed this episode in episode 23 of Star Trek Wars called Flesh Pancakes, which is our
Ew.
season 1 finale episode.
Flesh pancakes.
Oh, yeah. You'll know all about that the further we get into Strange New Worlds with a certain character tied to
Oh.
Flesh Pancakes.
Oh, they're called pierogies.
Yeah. Number 2 episode I recommend is a Deep Space Nine episode called Homefront.
What season?
Season 4, episode 10.
Is this the first time we see? Is this the first time we see Earth with Cisco's parents at the restaurant? Is that good? That sounds good.
It's supposed to be good, Chelsea.
Okay.
Because that is correct. This is the first time we see Cisco's Creole restaurant.
Okay.
A 2-part Deep Space Nine episode where Cisco and Odo go back to Earth because of a bombing that went off.
Oof.
Much better episode than the Neutral Zone.
But does it have Sonny Clements or whatever?
It does not. But you know what?
Then how can it be better?
The Neutral Zone also had Marco Lamo as the first Romulan in Next Gen.
No way. He played a Romulan?
Yeah.
Before they... He's such a good Cardassian, though.
He's a much better Cardassian.
Did they make him wear scarves?
Well, they had like that weird, the silver shoulder pads. That ugly TNG era.
Got it.
Nonsense. Out of 716 episodes, where do you think this placed?
Let's say in the 300s.
It had a 7.8 average score, putting it at 137th.
God, I'm so bad at numbers.
And out of 173 episodes of Deep Space Nine, finished 69th.
Nice. Where's Tuco? Nice.
And we reviewed Homefront in episode 85 of Star Trek Wars called Quatloos for Quaaludes.
Have I seen this episode?
I don't know. It's a 2-parter, and it's really good. It's Cisco and Odo.
Like, the premise sounds familiar, but I'm not entirely sure.
It's got a lot of great things that it's very relevant to today. And but there's a lot of just like paranoia and the threat of something else and how that like affects people.
Okay.
When you think you're safe.
Right.
And number 1, Trekcommendation, is a Next Generation episode called Cause and Effect.
Wait, I think I've seen this.
I think you have. This is a big one.
I'm so bad with titles.
Very highly rated episode.
What's the...
Season 5, episode 18.
Who's the main character?
Beverly.
Beverly.
Maybe Beverly's best episode.
Well, then it's not the grandma ghost one. Is this the one where everybody gets stuck in like a weird time loop thing and she's the only one that's like able to fix it? Yeah! I'm killing it.
Absolutely correct. Yes, great episode. The Enterprise, each act ends with the Enterprise exploding and then going back to the beginning again.
Right. It's like, yeah.
This, on a scale of 716 episodes, had an 8.94 total. Where do you think that would place it? 8.94.
Wait, so last time I said the 300s and it was 69?
For DS9. You said DS9 was 300.
It was 100.
It was a 7.8 and 137th.
So I think this is 100 or below.
I think that's super good call. 8.94.
Yeah,
Where to put on the old time list.
It's in 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. That's my answer.
Okay, well, you won't get any credit then.
Okay. 53rd.
30 seconds.
Frick, I'm so bad at this.
How would you know?
I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
I had a 1 in 100 chance. Screwed it up.
Makes it, out of 176 episodes of Next Gen, number 12. So we almost covered this on the Patreon show when we did the top 10.
Oh,
it's
I wouldn't
so
mind
good.
covering this.
And we covered it because it's got Frasier in it.
Oh, right.
That ship they keep colliding with and exploding and reverting the time loop was Captain... Oh, what's his name? I have Captain Frasier.
Boom, 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 boom.
It had Captain Frasier in it.
Yeah. Captain Crane.
And he was in this episode of Lower Decks. And he was with Tuvok.
Right. Yeah, no, I saw him.
Yeah.
Morgan.
Batesman. Captain Batesman.
Batesman?
I think so.
Okay. Close call.
And we reviewed Cause and Effect in the 118th episode of Star Trek Wars called Chalky Balboa.
Oh, that's the one with Eye of Chakotay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I bet this won.
I bet it did.
All right, that'll do it for our 3 Trekcommendations. For our To Be Continued, we had a couple like cliffhangers from the finale that we were wondering about.
Oh.
I had 3 of them. One was, what's going to happen with Freeman's fate? Who's going to be the next Cerritos captain? And Rutherford's implants. Because if you remember...
Yeah, what happened with that?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
But the other 2 were taken care of off screen. There's no... Yeah. All right, let me tally this up. Okay. So, how did the Lower Decks premiere do this week? Well, using the combined average score of ourselves, you guys who voted at home, Grounded comes to you with an average score of a 6.15. And that'll do it for this week. Star Trek Wars is available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and anywhere else fine podcasts are heard. You can also find us on Twitter at the Star Trek Wars. If you like our merchandise and want a hoodie or whatnot, you can head over to redbubble.com or follow the link attached to this episode. Chelsea, always a pleasure. Thanks for doing this with me.
Yes, thanks for the invite.
And where can they find you?
Oh, I guess I'm on the council sometimes.
I can tell you where else they find you. You've been doing the Star Trek Horrors episodes with
Lita
right. and Jocelyn,
Yes.
which I've very much enjoyed, and I'm happy that you guys are continuing.
Yeah, that's acquired taste. I love it.
Speaking of me,
Speaking of me,
Connor and I, my son Connor, have a brand new podcast called Bonding Together, where we watch and discuss all 25 Bond films. If you're interested in that, we are launching it with 2 episodes on September 5th, then an episode every other Monday after that. Chelsea and I will be back next week for episode 2, which is going to be great, of Lower Decks Season 3. Until then, true believers.
Oh, tight, yeah!
Thanks for listening to Star Trek Wars.